Ladies and gentlemen, we got breaking news all the way from Colorado today. I'm Greg Albin, man on the street in a home, an Airbnb. I hope they're okay with me filming here, though. They don't know I have a YouTube channel. Anyways, guys, joining me all the way from Los Angeles, California, is a man who was just at a big five store. I called him up because he has to get on a flight to Colorado to attend my wedding in a couple of hours, but this takes precedence over all of it.
That's right.
John Humphrey, how's it going?
I'm excellent, sir. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about this incredible breaking news.
Well, before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, even though it's a sad piece of news, leave a like. I really feel like I'm a reporter standing in everything right now, or I'm like doing some type of like junior high project.
Can we get the weather forecast for Colorado so I know what to get when I go back to the store?
I need some terrible green screen behind me. But anyway, yeah, this video is going to be as raw as it gets because, like I said, John has a flight to catch, but it's important that we were both here.
Still got to
pack. So guys, if you haven't heard the news, I was on Instagram and I was like, holy crap, I can't believe this is real. Because I thought out of anything, they would try to at least keep him. But Henry Cavill, he's made it official himself. He will not be returning as Superman. And James Gunn has also acknowledged this. So we got to go over what Henry Cavill put out, and then we're going to go over what James Gunn put out. And it's going to be a real raw opinion piece. But here it is. I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. I was so, like, when I first read this, I was like, this is shocking shit. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that James and Peter have a universe to build. You know what? I just realized I never read past those first few sentences until right now. I wish them and all involved with the newest universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's still a slight bit of bitterness here. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all onwards and upwards. I mean, like, it sounds like this is the first time this is the first ever official thing, and even in all the debating that's ever happened with the Snyderverse and the transitions, and like reports are coming out that Henry Cavill's fired, and he's like, I don't know if I'm exactly fired, and this is the first time ever where Henry Cavill is like, no, it's official, I'm officially done, like, and I'm putting it out there to the public. It's not going to happen. So before we go into James Gunn had to say, John, what do you think?
Great news, Greg. Loving what we're hearing out of this DCEU.
It's kind of funny, right, John?
I mean, it is in the saddest kind of way because, I mean, yeah, this had to have been like the most heart-wrenching. You know, it just makes you feel real bad for the guy. Like, he had to go out there after, and confirming, like, the studio was like, yes, confirm your return in October. Like, especially knowing that was, you know, like a team effort. It's really sad to know that they will have. It's both sad for him and also, you know, it adds to the whiplash of everyone's confusion after Black Adam. I'm sure, again, for the people who don't follow this news religiously. So, you know,
That's true.
Yeah, I'm not.
And now that you bring that up, it's making me wonder, like, what's Dwayne Johnson gonna say? You know, like, are they really going to can Black Adam now? Anything's possible, John.
Anything's possible, and the other way around. It's like the Snyderverse was like, wow, anything's possible. And now with this, especially Henry Cavill and Batgirl and stuff like that, now it's like, oh, wow, anything's possible. And I'm excited to see who they pick, but also, I mean, I think this is definitely going to leave a bitter taste in certain folks' mouths, and I can't really blame anybody or take that from them, you know, if you loved Henry Cavill's take.
No, this is you know how excited we were both, like, super excited about Henry Cavill returning. Like, it was arguably the best part about Black Adam. and we've all wanted it, and it's been such like an up and down. Like, it's been one of those relationships where you just feel like you're an on and off again thing with Henry Cavill. But we got to go over what James Gunn said because he does have some big reveals in here, and you got a flight to catch. So James Gunn said, Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go. You know what's funny when you read James Gunn tweets, you forget how his voice actually sounds like a total, like, bro. You know, like, Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first project at the beginning of the new year. Thank God. That means I'll be back in Los Angeles where things can be properly edited.
News. Yes, and inserts.
Among those on the slate is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. And there's the confirmation it's going to be a new Superman movie. But we just had a great meeting with Henry, and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. Someone says, please tell me this isn't an origin movie. No way. And could Ben Affleck direct? Met with Ben yesterday precisely because he wants to direct and we want him to direct. We just have to find the right project. Blah, blah, blah. He's answering some questions, playing nice. Now look. I gotta admit that it's just kind of funny to me because I feel like here's why I was under the impression James Gunn was all on board for Man of Steel and for that side of Henry Cavill. Because the guy produced Brightburn, and Brightburn was so much sort of like aping off. It wasn't a parody of Man of Steel. It was, if anything, kind of just going down an alt universe route of Man of Steel. Yeah. But it seemed to have so much motifs that I know he didn't direct the film, and it just seems like, yeah, you know, he put out that statement a while ago that was about, you know, the whole thing of, we understand there's going to be some transitions, we're not going to keep everyone happy, but he must have seen just how over the moon people were about Henry Cavill returning. But if it is to reshape the right DC universe, it's like, all right, I guess we'll hold out hope here. And it's like, to then come forward with a like, hey, Henry Cavill's out, well, we got a new Superman movie coming. I'm just like, ooh, weird timing to do that. Yeah. Like, it's just a little strange to me because I'm sure there's that time it's like, hooray, new Superman movie. It just felt like maybe it's like when I follow the Chili Peppers quite religiously, and they had a guitar player who took over for John Frusciante, Josh Klinghoffer, and then when they fired Josh, it was like apparently really sad, but like 5 minutes later they were like, John Frusciante's back. And that's it's a bit of a vibe that I have here, is like, oh man, don't even give us time to say bye here, you know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it makes me wonder who's in charge of this timing and whose order all these things are going out on, because on the one hand it seems like James Gunn has been in a very much a position to respond to things as they happen. Even Patty Jenkins put out that statement the other day, and he, you know, at least made a follow-up tweet about that. I am very curious as to what becomes of this too, because yeah, you're absolutely right. I feel like certain people are going to march into the James Gunn Superman iteration with some kind of vendetta or bitterness or chip on their shoulder, just given the whiplash of this, and yeah, having it be sort of so blunt, and especially around the holidays, it's kind of just a weird sort of human timing for all of this. What gives me hope is the idea that, again, like, Patty Jenkins doesn't seem like it's a 100% like it's not happening. It's just not happening in this current iteration. And hearing that maybe they'll recast Jason Momoa as Lobo, and hearing that they want Ben Affleck to be involved and they want Henry Cavill. Like, I understand that's an easy thing to say or even lie about, but part of me is like, well, who knows? I mean, maybe there is some other place that we hadn't thought of that Henry Cavill could pop up in this universe that would be really cool. And maybe down the line there will be some kind of Elseworlds means of still paying homage to his character. But there's no way that this isn't somewhat of a bummer. And I guess I feel for James Gunn, because, again, I don't know what he has to announce because of the studio and what he's just taking it upon himself to announce. But he does seem to exercise a good amount of restraint and diplomacy, which is good. Which, you know, all this stuff with Henry Cavill has been a sign of shaky leadership, because, you know, there are all sorts of, I don't know what's true, but there are all sorts of rumors about, like, well, Dwayne Johnson and his team kind of strong-armed Warner's into doing what they wanted, and Warner's already had their own other plan. And so, yeah, I don't know what to make of the array as it stands, but this suggests to me that James Gunn and Peter Safran will hopefully lead with a certain amount of steadiness.
Yeah. And maybe Liam Hemsworth will get fired, and then he can go back to The Witcher, and then everyone will be happy.
Next week, they'll announce that Henry Cavill's back on The Witcher.
All right, John, you got a flight to catch?
You gotta get back.
We had to talk about this, but I mean, I'm bummed, but I don't know. At this point, it is that thing where you're just in a relationship for so long that's so toxic.
Just like, please.
You're just like, it doesn't matter what you throw at me now. I'm not even as affected as I once was 6 months ago.
Just go. Be happy. We've been here.
Just go. I'm numb now. I'm numb to what you throw at me.
We just both deserve happiness, don't we? Just let it die.
All right, guys, leave your thoughts down below. Man, yeah, that's a real shocker. Holy shit, it's a bummer. But we'll talk with you all soon.